You go to podcast for the stories that shape our nation. Each week we explore the most impactful headlines that are shaping the narrative in South Sudan. We delve into issues related to national development, peace building, politics, culture and economics. To stay informed and engaged, tune into Around South Sudan and be part of the conversation that matters. Subscribe now and join us for the stories that connect us all. Together, let's explore the heart of South Sudan. Welcome to Around South Sudan. You go to podcast for the stories that shape our nation. Each week we explore the most impactful headlines that are shaping the narrative in South Sudan. We delve into issues related to national development, peace building, politics, culture and economics. To stay informed and engaged, tune into Around South Sudan and be part of the conversation that matters. Subscribe now and join us for the stories that connect us all. Together, let's explore the heart of South Sudan. Welcome to Around South Sudan. You go to podcast for the stories that shape our nation. Each week we explore the most impactful headlines that are shaping the narrative in South Sudan. We delve into issues related to national development, peace building, politics, culture and economics. To stay informed and engaged, tune into Around South Sudan and be part of the conversation that matters. Subscribe now and join us for the stories that connect us all. Together, let's explore the heart of South Sudan. Welcome to Around South Sudan. You go to podcast for the stories that shape our nation. Each week we explore the most impactful headlines that are shaping the narrative in South Sudan. We delve into issues related to national development, peace building, politics, culture and economics. To stay informed and engaged, tune into Around South Sudan and be part of the conversation that matters. Subscribe now and join us for the stories that connect us all. Together, let's explore the heart of South Sudan. Welcome to Around South Sudan. You go to podcast for the stories that shape our nation. Each week we explore the
It is disturbing. Go to mute. Tell us you have to open.
Yeah. Hello, welcome to a special episode of Around South Sudan. In this edition, we got one item that we need to unpack, and that is President Salva Kiir's address to young people or young South Sudanese people with a powerful call to action. His message was, the future of this party, referring to SPLA, and this country is in your hands. Rise to the occasion, learn from the past, respect those who came before you, and be ready to carry the flag forward. Those are key words from his message during the swearing in of his deputies, including Vice President Dr. Benjamin Bolmel. Now, what does this mean for South Sudanese youth, the role of unity beyond tribal lines, and how peace and justice can be nurtured for the betterment of all? I am glad to be joined as usual by my colleague Al-Hadi Aware and Kongpal Chang, who will be looking critically in this message. Look short, but carries weight, carries a lot of messages. Both of you are welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
First of all, talking about young people in South Sudan, they are known for violence. They are known for a lot of propaganda on social media in a country that is still struggling to come out of violence. Despite a peace agreement, this country is still facing enormous challenges. And one of it is actually the economic crisis. And Kiir has highlighted the importance of youth taking the country forward. And he emphasized on unity as one of the key things that if South Sudanese embrace, then we will see the country moving forward. And things like the economic challenges we face today would be addressed. Kong Palchang, how did you take that message?
Thank you again. And first, before we dive into what does sulfur mean when we said young people, but let's look at the political development that has happened, especially that lead to yesterday event, where first it was the revocation or the removal of the liberators or the founders of SPLM from the SPLM and appointing others comrades in the SPLM. And I think the journey in this process has started even when those of Waniga was removed as a vice president, and then now it ended up also being removed completely from the SPLM. It shows you that the message that Salva Kiir or the president said when he appointed some young men into the system, into the government, the governor of Central Bank, the Minister of Finance, some young men. He said he's looking into appointing young people into the government because they are new blood, new ideas, and also energetic. So I think he's replicating the same thing into the SPLM, where he wanted to see the young people, and this is what we may discuss further later, that who's young person? When President said, you young people have to rise up to the occasion, is your time, this country belongs to you, and the future is yours. And he also talked about the new generation, the new dawn. What does all this mean? And we talked to political analysis, and they try to also to explain what does that mean. And to so many people, people define young person or new generation in their own way, but the definite definition it may mean to the president political definition, where if you look at the four people who stood with him, that is the acting Secretary General, that is General Kwang Danir. That is also the three deputies, Bulmel and Simon Kuhn and Mary Apai. So they are not young as such, because we said a young person is somebody below 35 years old. But I think the explanation from the president when he said the new dawn for the new generation is it means the party has been managed and used to be managed by liberators, which even Simon Kuhn is part of those people, and Mary also. But these two guys, these two people, plus Bull, they were not given or they had no opportunity to manage the top positions as such, although they were part of they are part of political bureau and all those things. So he's trying to say these are fresh guys in the XPLM as my deputies. They are not the previous guy who used to work with me. So he is trying to tell the people that these are guys who will new guy to the office in those positions, not in the SPLM, in those positions. That is, it can be old, it can be young, as long as you have not been in that position before and you have been elevated up to take that responsibility. It can be to me, it can be considered as a new generation. New generation can be this group of people who have just come. But in other definition, a new generation, according to Bible definition, say a generation is 40 years. When these 40 years go, another generation go. come. So it is a definition. So this is political. So people should look at it at political angle, not at the normal definition of young as young as young. And I think it's not completely, and it should not be completely that young people should work alone as such, but you need people also with experience or who have been in the field. Our colleague here need us. We've been in this field. Yeah. They still need us, so that we also mentor them to take over when we leave and go and farm or maybe join politics. I think that's a process. In African context, in South Sudan context, as a family, when you have a family, you sit with them. When you know your leg or your energy is no longer there, you can no longer run after wild animal. You can no longer run to the front line to fight to defend the family or to defend the community. You tell your children that, guys, even among those children, even your younger brother can be among themselves, who is closer to you. You can tell them, guys, time has come. I think it's time for you to take over, take some responsibility, slowly, as you are shown how this thing has worked. It happened in any society. And what the president is doing is doing what can be done. People say, look at it as an awkward work, but to me, it happened. For example, the message there is hierarchy. For how long we'll be following hierarchy? And all this confusion, all this power struggle is because this one say, I'm the second. Okay? Or if this resign, or if this goes for his 5 term or 10 term in the system, I'm the next. In a political setup, this brings a lot of problem. But what the president is telling us is that the hierarchy is no longer there. So the hierarchy is no longer there. You cannot be there saying, no, somebody from behind can come and take the lead. Okay? I think this is the communication. And also the structure does not work any longer. Okay? We can decide to bring somebody back from behind. Even from university. Maybe they can as a member. So I think those are the... But I that is the communication.
But I think the SPLM should actually set the center stage for democracy. It should not be the matter of bringing a leader and do these changes, but also the SPLM should portray that it is moving the country towards democracy. So it must show an example today that we can exercise democracy and bring this out to the national level. And this was the genesis of 2013 conflict, if you recall. So what do you say?
Yeah, before El Hadi comes in, to me, my friend, there's no fair democracy. And when you talk about democracy, if there are so many, they say it when there are so many cooks. And actually, what caused 2013 problem is because that space was open. If we go to reality, what happened? I think they discussed in the SPLM or whatever meeting they did, whether it's true or not, said we are going for SPLM conventional and we have to elect a chairperson. And the chair will definitely be the flag bearer of SPLM. And everybody say, me, I want. It's okay, but in a volatile environment where the party has the army, because SPLM until now has not separated itself from the SSPDF or SPLA. They are together like this. Those in SPLM are generals. I believe they still receive salary from when they are done there, they switch there. So I don't see where you can't. It's not time. It's not the time for us to talk about democracy, because it will be chaotic if you allow everybody. To me, everyone want to be in that SPLM. Everybody want to be the one to be appointed as a successor. So to stop this waste of time, confusion, struggle, or maybe people will end up fighting, hating each other, even shooting each other. He has those powers that he has. Appointing somebody will silence. Like now, although maybe there are some who are aggrieved, who are not happy, but the appointment went quiet. The guys took over the office, and I believe they are working, doing their work smoothly. The democracy, I think there are times where people are mature enough, understanding what is democracy. Not a democracy where you go and intimidate your opponent. Okay? Army should be separated. That time will come where the army will be protecting the country, not the leaders. But this time, a constitution where the CDF is allegiant to the president, not to the nation or to the people, is the situation we are in. So you cannot say this.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Kong has given his definition of what constitutes a generation, and that's what Kir was alluding to, and he's saying this is now time for you, the young people, and indeed he has appointed a leader who is young by appearance. We don't know how old he is, but Al Hadi, so what is your insight into this definition of young people with regard to Kir's message during the swearing in of the first deputy?
I pick one thing from the speech of yesterday of President Kir. He's talking about, he actually highlights a very important part that youth are now a crucial, to me it's a crucial trust that the young people are the one now. But they're not the future, they're the present. But what he's supposed to do, he's supposed to know what is the negative and positive about the youth. Because youth have been accused all this time, since 2013, 2016, they don't feel in the war in South Sudan, especially with the social media. But they have their own roles. The only important part that is supposed to come from the government side, and especially from the head of the state, is how to empower those youths, to be the leaders of tomorrow also. Because if you look at some countries, the elements of the empowerment are very clear there, in terms of civic engagement, in terms of how to have a community dialogue, in terms of how to bring the link between the community and the government, and peace building, social cohesion. There is a lot of things supposed to be done by the youth. And then the other thing is that if you look at the faces of yesterday, when you talk about Dr. Benjamin Bolmel, he's a 40-something. Some people are happy about that because it's a new face in the system in terms of his age. Those who are talking about the liberators, I can remember that when we were still kids, they're also young, like in our age now. So they have to give, time to others also to try their best to build the country. Now, South Sudan is facing a lot of issues in terms of developmental projects, education, health, security, roads. A lot of things should be done by this time, because if you count from 2005, during the CPA time, when the regional government, we have been taking all the responsibilities, separately from Khartoum. Although President Kir was the first vice president of Sudan, and Dr. Riek Machar was the one responsible here, but now you count it is more than now, it's going now to 20 years, if you count that. So 20 years, if you have that strategic plan of 5 years, for example, you engage with youth and then you put them in different responsibilities, that means you do something for this country. SPLM, as a liberator body, like last week we talked about this, SPLM has a nice vision and mission, but the only point, we need to implement them as a country, as South Sudan. If you say SPLM, the vision, taking the town to the people in the village and connect the road, networking and security and whatever, it will be okay. But now what we're facing the division among the leaders. Those who are liberators of this country, they've been together, they've been in unity and harmony. But when they come to the power, they divide it, and now this, people are asking, where are they? because you have very strong names during the liberation time, Lasuba, if you can remember. But now people are asking, where are they? Where is this person? Where is this person? But because of Nur and Nasli go fi Medina, things become very hard. Like Kong said, I zol dere kun zol ben kabirinak, because nas barda der hawil shuf fi shuna bi hasil. But all in all, South Sudan is bigger than all this, what is happening. If you put South Sudan as a priority, South Sudan as a #1 priority, and the agenda of all these political parties or SPLM itself, you will see that, you know, people are working together, doing a lot of things.
So
concerning, yes.
Just a minute, and based on what you're talking about, the SPLM having actually a very good vision.
Yes.
And when it was founded, and so President Kiir is now urging, you know, young South Sudanese to learn from the past. And so what lessons do you think youth should understand from the country's history?
As I mentioned, the current leaders, those who are now, some of them are out and some of them within the system, when they're during the liberation time, they're young like us, okay, by then. So that time, there is peace, there is unity, there is harmony, there is social cohesion, okay, all these good elements. If the youth now currently, but what is missing? What is missing is something called national education. For you to adopt national education in any system or any country, you have to work for it. You have to have a good partnership with the international body like UNESCO to come that, you know, to say this national education for you, Lasuba, you know, some countries, I can remember one thing, like there's some countries in the Middle East, if you go there, you know, for example, if I'm discussing with Lasuba and then we disagree, it's easy for me to insult you. But I cannot insult your country. You know, even this argument, it will turn to be something else. This is what we need to have in our hearts. When we're talking about South Sudan, we must come together. But when I'm leveling you as Lasuba, I'm free to talk about you. But when they say South Sudan, okay, South Sudan. There is an issue in Nasser, for example. Let us all go there and dialogue. What is happening in Nasser? It's a part of South Sudan. We go there. Where are they? Okay, they run to Ethiopia, for example. We go and dialogue with them. So who is there? Okay, we have someone who was my classmate, and for example, the University of Juba is there. Is their leader. Okay, let us go to them. You'll find a way.
What you're saying is hypothetical. Not really. He's a leader.
No, for example. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You'll go and then discuss with them. This is the national education that for you to love your country, for you to have that, you know, that heart, you know, nationalism. Talk about your country. You can see there is an international conference people are doing outside. You go there, talk about your country positively. But now, when you see in social media, most of them are used, by the way. The age is from 20 to 30. They're always fighting. People are just fighting on social media. You can see a number of times, as I already know, been accused by some of those elements. Although, if they come to Arad, they will see Arad is a small South Sudan. All the communities, you know, all the people are here. But we need to adapt that. If you don't have that ability of doing that, we need to consider, you know, initiate a good, you know, dialogue that with different international bodies like UNESCO. You have in South Sudan, you have the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Higher Education. You have the Ministry of Youth and Culture and Sport. Okay, now they divided 2 ministries. Engage them, do something called youth conference, bring the agenda, let them talk. You'll come with a very nice manifesto, how to use it. And later, even you can ask the parliament, why don't you put this one in our transitional constitutions? I'm sure things will move on. But now, youth also, they link themselves to the hierarchy of the country. Who is the president from which region? Who is the vice president? They're not loyal to the country. They're loyal to the leaders. And as we know, leaders go and leaders come. So till when are you going to engage yourself with that leader? It's better for you to engage yourself with your country that you know in your heart.
They are being loyal to leaders who fought for this country, leaders who came with, who developed a very good vision for the liberation struggle that brought about the independence of the country. And this is just the opposite of what should have actually happened from independence time. So, Kwangpal, so how can the understanding of the struggles and sacrifice of then generations influence the youth approach to leadership and nation building?
You know, the time, from the time of liberation to the time of independence, a lot of things happened. And you remember there was this one man whom we spoke to on 16 May, I don't know, 3 years ago, when we were asking people, when was the first time you heard about, where were you when you heard about the death of Garang? Mm-hmm. And this old man cried, and, because he remembered the time where, when he heard about the news, he was going to Uganda. But he said when he heard the news, it was shock to him because he lost his father during Liberation War. And then Garang promised a lot of things. And then after Garang died, he realized the vision of Garang may not happen. And that's why from those years when President Salva Kiir took over, Salva was faced with internal rebellions, power struggle with his comrades. And the only thing was for him to do is to make sure that also he protect his seat, because everybody's hand is there. You see, and it started because everybody say, I want to be, I want to be, I want to be. And one thing South Sudanese need to know also is there is no country where there are two leaders. There's only one leader. And when people go for election also, people compete and there's always one leader. There's never been so many leaders. But the way things are happening, you realize people are accommodated because they rebel, they represent his community. Okay? And that's how now the cake is being divided. And everybody see this is the only way I can eat. And that's why we have so many psychopaths that support only leader. Just they can sing for a leader, they can do anything for leader and all those things. So the president found himself fighting things that we did not expect to be happening. We expect to be going for development and all those things. So, and if you talk about young people, people who were born during independence, how old are they now? So they don't know
14
about,
years.
Yeah, they don't know about what happened. They only know this recent war. If you won't even talk about some liberators, they don't know them. So the issue is here. I think what is happening, people should really accept whether, you know, sometimes in politics you take risk, okay? What the president and his party is doing is taking risk. Guys, time has come, let's go home. Let's leave these young people. People are worried about Mary Apai, complaining about Mary Apai, complaining about Simon Kuhn. You know, are these only people who are all who are in the government?
They're questioning.
That is not should not be an issue, okay? And you never know. In 6 months or in 1 year time, maybe they will be changed. Some young men will be replace them.
This could be Kerry's strategy.
Yeah, but this is a strategy of the president, whatever he is doing. So, even if they are made young people, this is a process, and I think it's clear that the president has took it upon himself. You know, leadership is about taking decision. So he's taking decision on whether worst, whether bad or good. As a leader, you take risk. You take a decision. It's like a business. For you to do business, you have to take risk. Somalis take risk to go to do business in war zones because they know the only one person who is responsible for your life, for you to die, is God. Nobody else can say you die today.
This is another belief.
Yeah, this is their belief.
So belief works.
So risky now, risky. The president and his party, his deputies, have taken this step, and according to him, he mentioned youth several times in his speech. And I think the message is clear. And when you see the reaction on social media, most of the young people are saying, if this could bring change, okay, and we can honor these our elders to retire, and young people take over. It's a gradual. You cannot bring all young men at once.
Right.
The process is a process. It's slowly, even those young people who found themselves, who may see themselves, they may not be in the government, they may come and be part of the government. Election is coming, okay? It's not about this one seat as a president, but there are so many, as parliament needs so many people. It's for them, young people now, to prepare themselves. If that's opportunity, today the senior presidential advisor say election will go on whether there is a violence or not. It happened in Sudan. So possibly let the young people prepare themselves. If you know you have what it takes, and this is what the president say, rise to the occasion. What does that mean? You challenge yourself to take over. Take over how? In your village. Where is your village? Yay.
Lasso.
Okay, or Lasso. Take the challenge. It's to you. Take the challenge, go to Lasso, prepare yourself, let your name be in the ballot box.
I was joking with an MP from my area.
Yes.
And said, I'm going to stand. He said, no, wait. You still wait. You're still young. I said, no, time has come for us. So you see, there is also perception among the elderly people that they are still there to work. And in somehow also looking at why people do not want to go for elections. And they see these extensions, for instance, as something good for them. So that's the environment they want us to be living in. So I'm looking at the conditions that the situation youth are actually subjected to, because that is where they face a lot of challenge. How to rise to the occasion is where you face a lot of hurdles.
And that is why it's good for them to know also these politicians. These politicians whom the president is trying to send home peacefully, go and retire, or maybe through the party, the youth should know these are their enemies who are standing on their way to practice the democratic system that they want. Because this extension is favoring the politicians. So it's now for youth themselves to prepare themselves. Let election come. If Juba is peaceful, those few young people who are from this area should challenge themselves and take over the leadership of this state. The same to other states. Then next time, after 5 years, we go for another election. Maybe by that time, South Sudan will be stable from all corners. And then another challenge for those young people to go again and challenge, and then change the system. The system is changed slowly. Violence will never. It's just taking life. And I believe whatever people believe, because there are so many, I believe you've been called, so many people are calling, what is happening, there's no, here we are, and these change are happening, we are seeing them, and slowly, hopefully, we may end up having election in 2016. In 2026. Yeah.
Right. And Alhadi Awari, the president calls for unity, not as individuals, not as tribes, but as one nation. And so how realistic is this vision in South Sudan's current socio-economic and political climate?
You know, as that prophet says, it's easy for you to destroy, but it's not easy for you to build.
To rebuild.
Your home. So the country faced a lot of challenge in terms of the two crises that happened in 2013 and 2016. If you look at those youths that we're talking about, the young people, and I'm sure President knows them very well, the only issue that some of them been influenced by those politicians who have been misusing them for all this time. There is international crisis all over the world in terms of how to get resources. For you to rebuild the unit that we're talking about, because youth or younger people, they're the one always promoting peace and social cohesion among different communities in Africa. if I talk about Africa, because our version is always different from the Westerns. But for you to rebuild that one, the first thing you have to raise is resources. You have to have a fund to do that. But now, even the time that you're swearing in the 3 deputies or the 2 deputies plus the deputy of the SG, the country is facing challenges because Chapter 1, we're struggling still to get the Chapter 1 for civil servants and organized forces. Those that are part of the community. So when you talk about youth, you not talk about only those youths who are doing the violence, but talk about the whole community. You have to work very hard in terms of how to reclaim that peaceful community that during the liberation time. So this one it's a project itself, by the way. For you to prepare yourself to do that, we talk about unity and peace, because I'm always telling people the issue of this country is not the current government that we have or the government of the national unity. The issue is even the community itself and different areas, they have issues. Because I'm sure, Lasuba, if you go to your neighborhood in the area that you're staying, you'll find it's very difficult for you sometimes even to communicate with a direct neighbor or someone who's opposite to your house. We have our own things. Why? Because I think this background of all this more than 50 years, this violence that we have in the country. So for you to do that, I've been saying, but now I think the USAID, decision of already messed up a lot of things. There is if you look at the project of the EDC, they've been doing that. Different NGOs plus the UNESCO, they have a community engagement. This community engagement is including the youth because they're targeting youth in different areas. If you go to Lake State, they will ask for the youth, those who have been, and the cattle, those who have been cattle keepers. You go to Audi, you go to Bor, you go to Malakal. It's the matter of how to integrate them to that peaceful community. But also you have to pay for it. And I'm sure if the Vice President for Economic Cluster has the whole vision about how, to do something that good for the country, I'm sure if you get someone to be his advisor for youth and sport, it will help on that. Although we already have a minister who is doing that through the sport, but it's not enough. Because the sport, if you look at it, now there is big number of youths, they already engage on that. But if you go to these different areas, these remote areas, there is a youth there, so you have to engage them. Whenever you go to them during the election time campaign, when you tell them this, we're doing election campaign, they must understand, and then also you have to tell them these are democratic rights to come and vote. I think, you cannot separate the process. All of them as one thing, and then you move on. This one will give a healthy status to our country.
Right. And Dr. Benjamin Bolmel actually is in charge of a very powerful docket, that is the economic cluster. And you talk about resources as key to ensuring that certain projects work out for youth. And youth have been actually all this time demanding for their share. They want, what we call the youth reconstruction fund, something like that is stipulated in the peace agreement, where they can actually be having access to this money or to be able to do projects, to engage themselves in productive activities. But this has not been done by the government, despite this. And there are no active projects that you've mentioned. And you're saying this now needs a lot of investment from the government. So Kong, now what is you say? I think we'll be having the next budget this year. And what are your thoughts in this area? How youth can be strengthened so that they are really engaged in programs that will take their minds away from violence?
Yeah, we said the largest population in South Sudan live in rural area, which is in the village, okay, not in towns. So that means, and we say that is that 70% of population are young people, okay. So South Sudan is young, when you look at the speech of Bolmel, we will refer to his speech because we can tell is him and the president are the one driving this vision of stabilizing South Sudan. Okay, and he kept saying that you cannot compromise. Like he will not allow instability to stop peace or to be a challenge to achieving peace in the country. So what does that mean? And he mentioned that there is no need for young people or for armed civilians to be armed when we should have a national army that protect. So those are things that I believe they are on his table. That I seem that is a guy of no nonsense, that you have a gun, what is your problem? You can't carry a gun because by law you are not allowed to carry a gun if you are a civilian. So what do you want? Give me the gun. What do you want? You want this. There will be an opportunity for him because to listen to these people who are carrying arms and why they are carrying arms. And I believe the solution is one, you provide security to these people. Then now you provide security to these people and then they go to they do their normal business as usual and no problem, then you won. So what happened is to build their livelihood. How do you do it? We come to your question. That what do you do? There must be money that are available, especially the UN agents that is working with the government, especially UNDP is there. Especially the area of demobilization, rehabilitation. Those areas, UN can come in hand to help. So I believe if government is pursuing peace, these people will be able to hand over their guns. Because to me what I'm seeing, in one way or another, I think the president and his colleagues are implementing the resolutions of national dialogue. This is what I'm seeing. You see, if I can remember, one of the recommendations is for this SPLM leadership to go. I think you remember that.
Yes.
And some of them spoke, even including Honorable, the second deputy. She was part of national dialogue. That way she was vocal, and that we should implement this. And maybe there is a blueprint that is on the table now they are implementing, because this is the voice of the people. That is a vote of no confidence. National dialogue, I wish you can get that document. It's like a 2018 peace agreement. If that 2018 peace agreement was to be implemented, we will have a great country. The same national dialogue document is a document that even the National Constitution Review Commission don't need even to carry a lot of consultation. They just go back to that document and make it part of constitution. People have spoken, and actually national dialogue was although some people call it monologue because the SPLM-IO were not there, but these are South Sudanese. Regardless of party, they were speaking from being a South Sudanese and what they want for South Sudan.
Correct.
So I think part of it, I'm seeing it, the leadership of SPLM is slowly implementing some of those resolutions.
Should the government move so fast? People are tired. People want to see change. Young people want to see change, although young people are part and parcel of the problem.
You know, you don't need to be hurry. You don't need to be hurry. You don't need to hurry things. Things come by as they are planned. You know, you cannot also force something that a time has not come. You see, you know, a lot of things need discussion, planning, and strategizing. So many things that are involved. You cannot, even here when you see there's too much security force on the road. It's because So many people have guns in their hand. They are going with this gun who are not allowed to move with their guns. That's why they this search, I believe, because according to the police spokesperson, South Sudan is not yet, you cannot, they think that you cannot move or you speed up because we are in a fragile situation. Now you have to think twice for you to go to Yei by road, okay? You have to think twice. Me, I have to think twice whether I can go and settle in my village or not. So things are still not okay. But change can happen slowly in the center and then slowly it goes down. You cannot change everything in all corners of South Sudan overnight because there are so many stakeholders, players, even non-state actors like those armed youth. You see them attacking army, soldiers. You need to empower, you need to really build a good army because you cannot, if you cannot wake up now and say, I want to do this when you are not in control of certain area in the country, okay? You have to strategize slowly. I think we'll get there, the grace of God.
Ibrahim Traore has taken his country too fast because he's on the center stage. He makes sure that he decides and everything is done according to him. Although he has a very mini cabinet, he has a very small team that works with him as his people he trusts. In South Sudan, we have had this, like the dialogue you talk about. All South Sudanese have spoken, and the implementation part of it was lacking. So, are you suggesting anyway that Kir, as you said, is working with Bolmel, and they must be having something to do? And would you say that this is a good approach if two leaders can say, let's do this and make change happen? What do you say?
Yeah, they may have their own plan, but today, if you give me this responsibility of running this country, if the South Sudanese give me responsibility, I
Al-Hadi would say
I will do what is good for the country. Okay? Not what is good for the people of Juba. Not what is good for the people of your community. What is good for the country. And Africa, there are some countries, even in Kenya now, is a Kenya that we believe that they are well-informed society, even in South Africa, even in Zimbabwe, where 99% or 100% are educated, you see? But still there are problems. So the system of governance really need to be defined in Africa or in South Sudan. How do you run you cannot run your country with values that is given to you because the democracy is working in the US, it will work here. Why not take a leap from Paul Kagame? What is he doing? He said, I will do it. Okay? He's doing everything. Yeah, there are people who say, oh, it's not good, whatever you do. You do what is right for your country. Those who will come after him will continue where he left because it's about people. Security. In Rwanda, I'm told, you cannot hear any violence completely. There is no violence. Security is 100%. Investment are coming there. Because one thing, security. He makes sure, he doesn't listen to, okay, you so many arms group, I come and accommodate you.
But there are also concerns of, yes, it may be physically saying that there's really no violence, no bloodshed, no nothing. But also in security, some of them are designed. They are structural.
That is now, we leave it to the security expert. And then what I can say that as a leader, you take risk, you take a decision. If it is wrong, people will judge you and you will correct it. If it is right, you take it. If it's what is going to save the country. The country. I'm not talking about your community in Lasu. No. Well, whatever. I'm talking about the country. If it's going to save the country, take that decision.
Let me just add something about this issue of the community in Lasu. You see, Lasuba, what is affecting the African leaders is always mixing up the politics with culture and tradition in the background of your community. when you try to do the comparison or to compare South Sudan with Burkina Faso, it's completely different, two different countries. So these guys, they have the legacy of late Thomas Sankara, the one who died in 80s.
But we have our Garang also.
Yes, but I'm coming to this one. Now they have more than 40 years doing their things. We only have, now we have 14, we're going to 14 years now, next month. But what is good and what is giving people to be excited, some people don't understand politics and this country here, you'll see that there is really change that is happening. The only issue that we have, the source of the whole economy of the country, because it depends on this crude oil, and then we depend on non-revenue. But there is still a lot of complaints there. The system is still, you know, they're trying to put things in right track. But when I give this country time, I'm sure things should be okay. Because now you feel like, in terms of politics, people are moving in right track. But still, you have, you know, when you have a lot of people who are against you, opposing your system, or number of people, number of intellectuals in your country, they become oppositions, that means there is something there. And all those people, by the way, most of them, I can tell you 90% of them, they're liberators. They're not opportunists. Because I'm talking now about the position, those opposing the current government that we have in South Sudan. But all in all, what I've seen, the door of the current leadership open for dialogue, and it's good enough. I remember some time back we started with Tumaini, we stopped it, and now we still have some issues with the River Dallas Peace Agreement. We hope also to open that door, and then we'll continue with both of them. You know, how to solve the issue between the SPLM-IG and then the SPLM-IO in terms of the new leadership also from the side of the SPLM-IO or the previous one. And also the other group of Tumaini. But still, when you have crisis in any country like South Sudan, that means the other wing of economy cannot move on, because that crisis you have to pay for it indirect. Now, in Juba here, the only route for Juba to get goods is only a Lego, direct from Gulu or direct from Uganda using Busia of Kenya. Why don't you have the other route of Kenya from this side of Eastern Equatoria, the side of Lokichoki? Why? Because we still, you know, we're not settled how to think about. We have a strategic plan of 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Some people now, they reach 50 years, 100 years, some African countries. It's a matter of thinking, it's a matter of the leadership that you have, conferences that, you know, resolutions of the conferences, you put them scientifically and then you use them, you can move on. All these complaints from the list, if you listen to these two flagship program of IRID, the Sundown, the Dawn, if you look at it, they only need something small. Protect them, get for them, provide security for them to use their roads, to go to their farm, to cultivate like this during the time of the rainy season, to take their crops to the market, to get the small that we are getting. But now, they're not getting any kind of service from this type. Why? Because you cannot go from here alone, from here, like Kong said, you cannot go to Yei. Just go in your farm there, get Bafra or get Deljibu Fisuk. So these are the issues that we are facing. But I'm sure with the move that they start, things should be okay, and then people will start, you know, doing their services, doing their work as farmers, as youths in the country, doing their conferences, and then we can move on.
Right. The youth have actually been, we have seen youth getting involved in peace activities in the country. There are also youth initiatives, youth groups, youth associations, all these groups, they have been there. But despite this, we see, what we see on social media is contrary to what we see other youth are doing, trying to promote peace. How can this be harmonized so that youth come to their senses that we need to leave our differences aside? We need to, as you said earlier, stop following up the big people, stop being psychopaths, just because you want to survive. But as Kir said, you rise to the occasion. They have to come up and ensure that they take lead in shaping the future of this country. So why has these challenges been come?
You know, it goes back to, you know, in any country, for it to be stable is when there is political stability. We, the living, the human, without oxygen we cannot, okay? So it's the same thing. If political environment is not stable, all the rest of the things is zero. So we need to stabilize South Sudan first. And the only way for South Sudan to be stabilized, so these young people play their role in building this nation, is let us reconcile. Because, you know, Memo or El Hadi, today, if you wrong me and you don't say, I'm sorry, or if I wrong you and I don't say, I'm sorry, I will still, each one of us will hold that grudge. It will not go away. You have not solved the problem. We'll be pretending that there is peace. When we have not reconciled, there is no peace. Peace is reconciliation. I forgive you, you forgive me. And then I can sleep outside. I will not be worried about my neighbor coming to attack me. You have forgiven me. And if you kill me, if you kill me after I ask for forgiveness and you forgive me, then you are the wrong. Okay? So what I'm saying is this. The country needs peace. The political system need, actually it need that leader that will silence all this nonsense of politics. Because all of us, we are South Sudanese. If we get a guy who is no nonsense, a leader who is no nonsense, making sure he deal with this political issue and stabilize the country and get the country toward election, we elect a leader whom we, the citizen, will say, this is our leader, we will defend that person through constitution because we are the one who elect him. And then now, people will talk about be it after election or can be before election. And to me, let it be before election. Let us reconcile. Let community reconcile. If we reconcile, people will surrender their guns. This is very important thing. Reconciliation is very important in any society because we had each other. We have had each other. And that's why you see there's so many negative campaign, negative propaganda on social media as this community. And even now people are saying, funny thing that you live in Juba, you know what is Juba. But people outside Juba, and I believe they call you, why are you there? Why are you there? They say different things. Actually, they are reporting incident of unknown Juba. How do you call it? How do you call it? You don't know where is that Juba. They talk about that Juba. This is not Juba.
Different Juba.
Different Juba. Okay? The Juba they created in their head through social media. I told somebody, he told me something that is happening in Juba. I told him, my friend, I'm in Juba. I see the event and nothing wrong. They could not believe. I went and met somebody and told him, my friend, this is not correct. This is not the right information. The good thing with us, with the people who work in the media, we have information. Whether you hide that information, we will get it because you will tell us.
That's true.
There's a lot of rumors going around, but rumors cannot go on for a month without.
But at least that person is good. When somebody asks you to find out the right information, this is a person you really want to.
Sure. But what I'm saying is that there's too much hate in us. So we need to give ourselves an opportunity to reconcile as a country. You know, all these people making noise.
How do we start it?
We started from here, from where you are, from here. Let's talk about it here. here. Okay?
He said we are a small country here. I mean,
we can. We are big. We are big.
Yeah. So we can start here.
You know, Lasuba, Sometimes I have friends outside there.
Yes.
You know, when you believe in diversity, it's a very important thing. What I've seen, most of our youth here, they engage so much in politics. And then this is where mistakes happen. Because they're following the elders, the leaders. Not the leaders, those who have the national spirit in their heart, but the leaders, those who come from the community. So it's very easy for that leader to misinform them. And it's very easy for that young person also to be emotional with situation, then they say, okay, I'm here for you. This is what happened exactly in South Sudan. Because now through the social media, you can see through the innovation that, because, you know, young people, they're very innovative, by the way. The innovation that they have, they're doing a lot of things. Creating cartoons, you know, mixing the voices, the video. They say this is the plan, which is wrong. And for you to live that life of different countries that, you know, in peace and security, also you have to work hard. That's why I was telling you from the beginning that we need to have a national conference for youth. Okay? Bring all the youth together and tell them, not because now people, you know, lose trust in some of the bodies. When you talk about, yes, we have them here, we have the National Youth Union. They are there. But you can see it's rare for them even to conduct a conference or to have dialogue with youth. The youth that they're talking about, go to the village, go to the rural areas, bring them. Even not in Juba. You can try to cross-check. Go to Ye. There is a center in Ye, a very big center there, I remember. 2007, the Liberation Council of SPLM was conducted there. Go to, you know, you've been hearing a lot of ISO in Tombra, there is crisis. Go there, do it there. Go to Raja, okay? Why? Go to Olangor Nasa, do it there for use. So you'll see there is something different, because for you also to talk about positive things, it needs environment. The environment must be different. Because if you look at Juba, like Juba for South Sudan is a center of crisis. Some people are saying, no, Upper Nile is one of the parts of the region of South Sudan that, you know, bring all the crisis. No, it's not like that. Because Juba is a capital, and where most of the politicians, you know, they're based. So get out from Juba and tell the youth, now we are going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. And by the way, this is one of the mandate of the UN mission in South Sudan UNMISS. If you look at it, that's why they're helping. We have the Minister of Youth, Peace Building. You engage them together. You call the Minister of Youth, Sport, and then we have the Minister of Culture and Heritage, the Minister of Youth, the Minister of Peace Building. Engage them together. Try to drop, you know, the agenda of the conference. And all of them must lead to a safe and peaceful country, as South Sudanese. We know ourselves, we know our issues, by the way. And nobody can hide that. No, we don't have, as a country, we don't know where the issues come from. So we can just sit and then, you draw the issues, putting it as agenda, and then you move on. Do 2 weeks, 3 weeks conference, okay? Come with a good resolution. One of the issues that facing people also, the dropout. Most of the issues by the dropout from the school. Now, by the way, there is a very serious concern in Juba here. Because if you remember last time, there is a conference here for the group that they call themselves Outlaw. Then the number of the names of the several names there. So if you ask what is the issue, some people will tell you there is an issue with the families, the community. No, it's not the families and communities. It's the situation that we are in South Sudan.
Can the country organize some event, a big conference for youth? To listen to them, have youth representatives from across the country, and later on, that's what I'm thinking, and then initiate what we call a campaign for peace, youth campaign for peace across the country.
This one is very easy, Lasoba. It's a matter how to put agenda down, and then call your partners. You have partners. You have UNMISS, you have different NGOs. Call them, let them come. We need to do 1, 2, 3, 4. For what? For the sake of our country, as South Sudan. So they will come. From the beginning I mentioned to you that there is an issue of funding, resources. There is no resources there. Because when now you're in the office here, go and bring your nephew, your cousin brother who is young and the senior. Just bring him here or her. They say, oh, so, but this way we're working. Okay, the environment is good. So I want to be like you tomorrow, next tomorrow. So there is a motivation always. You have to motivate the youngest one, in your family so they can have the same spirit that, yes, we grew up in a very difficult time, by the way. There is sometimes you wake up in the morning, there is no tea even. Even there is no water for you to shower. A lot of issues. But now, at least, things are somehow. Yeah.
So, to some extent, also the youth have lost confidence in their government. So, as we wrap up this discussion, how can the leaders now, just like the way Kira, she started it on a good note, build that relation or trust with the young people, and also bring them closer, since you said they are the future of this country, and begin mentoring them to ensure that the country move forward. So what is your last take as we wrap up this?
Okay, he said the party, he said the country belong to this, to even the future belong to the youth, and I think the youth don't need something big. What the young people need is to create. Okay, you say we are the future, or we are the current leader, as you are giving us the leadership. Now, as the way the president is doing in the party, and also making sure that the Bulmel is taking lead in that, he just need to create that environment, conducive environment. It is in his hand. The president is himself. He's the captain, and I think that's why he's driving this change, because he's the captain. As a captain, make sure the environment is secure. South Sudanese young people, you will not call them, they will call themselves to unite for this country. Just look, when there's something about a foreign country threatening our sovereignty, you will see all of them, their comments on social media, united. Yes. So that means they love their country. But when you see some clashes in between two communities, you see how they are divided. Because that initiative of reconciliation is not there. If you bring them together, you just create that environment for them, let them create that environment for them, so that they come and put what the president said, take the lead. That's where they will come and take the lead, because if that environment is not there, they will not have opportunity to come and take the lead. They need that environment. And that environment will be only created by the president himself, the party, and the government itself.
What is your last message?
We are one, and I think let's just, I just like the way Lomude is trending. Let's see Lomude as that South Sudan, because he has united us. The Pajulu has united us for the last 2 weeks, and this should continue. I'm hearing the Dinga Cultural Festival is coming. Let's grace that. Let's go there and dance. I'm seeing a lot of things. There are some communities that are doing great things that are making us proud. Let me say, for example, this community that's leading in basketball. They are making our country very proud, or 3 communities in that sense. This community that have runners. They are making South Sudan proud. Okay? They say diversity is good. It's really good, because we will get different things. Whatever we need in this world, we can get it.
That's true.
Yeah. This one will lead me to the point of, if you try to analyze what happened exactly during Fajulu Cultural Festival, you learn that youth are the one driving, because all the posts on social media was by youth. So I hope the Minister of Youth,
the country is young.
the Minister of Youth and Sport will take up this one as an agenda. And even, by the way, to put it in our national agenda, that in South Sudan you have 64 tribes. You call them, you call the chiefs, do it all over the year. Cultural festival.
Through the year we celebrate.
Through the year we celebrate. Okay, Kakwa has like this day, Zanda has like this day. Let me tell you this one.
You have used my side a lot as an example. It's all right. It's okay. Well, why not? I was still coming.
Yes. Yes, you know, this is the backbone of the country, brother. Let me tell you, if you work on it, because I remember all the people that are going to Rock City playground.
So what's your message
To do
in short?
what?
In short?
My message is youth are the one promoting peace and unity and social cohesion among any nation. And for that, I think we need to give them, you know, some care also. We need to take care of them. And then also we need to think about the future and the present belong to them.
Right.
Yes.
Al-Hadi Awari and Kong Pal Chang, a seasoned commentator, thank you both for today's insights. And to you also, the listener or the viewer, if you have just tuned in or you've just actually gotten, so we have been discussing Kir's message, which was the future of this party and this country is in your hands. In your hands. And you rise to the occasion. Learn from the past, respect those who came before you, and be ready to carry the flag forward. That's the message to South Sudanese by President Salva Kiir during the swearing in of his 3 deputies on Thursday. And I thank you for having stayed glued to this program until the end of it now. And thank you. Just join us for another edition of the same next Friday when we'll be looking at current affairs of the country. Thank you.
Welcome to Around South Sudan. You go to podcast for the stories that shape our nation. Each week we explore the most impactful headlines that are shaping the narrative in South Sudan. We delve into issues related to national development, peace building, politics, culture and economics. To stay informed and engaged, tune into Around South Sudan and be part of the conversation that matters. Subscribe now and join us for the stories that connect us all. Together, let's explore